So we're going ahead here with our study of the Bhakti-Shastri. We want to finish this week. This is our last week, so we have to finish the 18th chapter. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're on the final chapter here of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes in the purport how actually the Bhagavad Gita was finished at the end of the 17th chapter, but Lord Krishna is giving a summary of all of the teachings. So 18th chapter is like the summary of everything which we've studied in the earlier chapters. And we'll see how it's presented. Is everybody hearing okay? Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And you're seeing the PowerPoint okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
So the first section is about Karma Yoga. You remember how in the first 6 chapters, Lord Krishna also spoke a lot about Karma Yoga. And actually the chapter begins with Arjuna's question. He wants to know again about sannyas and renunciation. That are they the same thing or are they not? Arjuna is not sure. So this is something you all want to be sure about, to understand clearly what is sannyas and what is renunciation. I was listening, one devotee was giving class at in Mayapur here in the morning. He was telling, he was in South Africa, and he said he went to visit one man who was a very wealthy man there in South Africa, like a life member or something. He went to visit him, and there was one sannyasi there, but the sannyasi was not from ISKCON. And the sannyasi, he had the saffron dress and a big grey beard, older man. The hair had all gone grey. So the devotee said he was talking to this one man, and the man was, at one point he said to the devotee, he said, he said, I used to be married, he said, before I took sannyas. And he said, he took out a picture of he said, this was my wife. He said, and when he took out the wife's picture from his pocket, tears came in his eyes, and he was feeling so much affection for her, you see. So, this is not really the mood of a sannyasi, that he's supposed to be renounced, but he's still in his heart, he's still thinking about his wife, and he's still got her picture and everything. Oh, Krishna. So that's not really how it should be. Renunciation and sannyas are actually the same thing. Lord Krishna explains. He said that actually the purpose of sannyas is renunciation. And what is real renunciation is to be detached from the fruit of our activities. We should not be attached to the fruit of our activities. So one who is actually renounced, meaning one who is actually a sannyasi, he will perform his duty without attachment to the results. So that is actually karma yoga, working in a detached manner. I think you should have studied that in the beginning when we did the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. We learned about the yoga ladder, right? And there's karma yoga, karma kanda. Karma kanda are material activities. They're not really on the yoga ladder. Karma kanda activities are done for material benefit, so they're not spiritual. But unfortunately, in the Kali Yuga, a lot of brahmanas, they're karma kandi brahmanas, and they just do activities for materialistic benefit. But the real purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to teach spirituality, to bring us on the spiritual platform. So karma yoga is the beginning of that. Karma yoga means to work in a detached way. You'll remember from the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna spoke some verses about karma yoga, right? Do you remember one verse about karma yoga? Yes? Who knows? So many intelligent ladies are there, right? What's the verse from karma yoga, about karma yoga in the Bhagavad Gita? One very famous verse is Karmani evadikaraste. Have you heard this verse before? Karmani evadikaraste mapalishu kadachana. Na karma pala hiturbur mate sangosva karmani. Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, he told Arjuna that your qualification, Arjuna, is to work. Adhikar. Adhikar means qualification. Karma, your qualification is to do karma. So Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna that you should work. But then he told him, Ma palishu kadachana. You should work, but don't be attached to the fruit of the work. So that is karma yoga. That's one verse. That's a very famous verse about karma yoga. Very common quoted verse. People hear this verse a lot. That we should work, but don't be attached to the results. And never be attached to not performing your duty, and never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of work. Right? So that's karma yoga. There's another popular verse about karma yoga, comes in the 9th chapter. Yat karosi yach ashnasi yach chahosi dadasi yat. Yat tapashyastu kuntiya takurushva mad arpanam. Mad arpanam, meaning offer to me. All that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you may perform, do them as an offering to me. That's also karma yoga. Krishna is saying, offer the results of your work to me. Alright? Do you do that? Do you do any karma yoga? Are you doing any karma yoga? I hope.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
You do? What do you do?
Being in a field of a dentistry, and being in a field of a dentistry, whatever hard working we are putting in our this field, so we are putting Krishna in the center. If we want to earn, so that we can, personally I am speaking about myself, to earn so that I can bring a good kind of dresses for my deities, and make to buy some kind of a tasty foods for Krishna to offer. So maybe one of this thing I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that's karma yoga or bhakti yoga. It's a bit more like, anyway, karma yoga, It can be done also by impersonalists, you know. Maybe you go to some yoga school, maybe Mayavadi school or something like that, you know, and they may invite you to do some karma yoga. Would you like to do some karma yoga? And they'll invite you maybe to cut the vegetables or to clean the floor or something. That is karma yoga, you know. You do something, you do like some voluntary work for the pleasure of the Lord.
That I
karma
have
yoga. Karma, you do that, yeah?
Yeah, that I have. I'm not doing it now, but that I have done when I was in London. So there, in Govinda's, like, but I again don't know is it a bhakti yoga or kind of a karma yoga? But there I was like chopping vegetables for the pleasure of a Lord, or because that food was going to offer to the Krishna.
And sometimes also karma yoga is giving a portion, maybe some percentage of your salary for the pleasure of Krishna. Some financial contributions which we may donate, you know. And there's a difference, a subtle difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. You see, in karma yoga, we're thinking, I'm giving this. I'm giving this, I'm donating this. But in bhakti yoga, we understand everything is Krishna's. I'm giving him, it's his, it's not mine. He gave it to me, I'm just giving him back what is his. And bhakti yogi understands everything belongs to Krishna. So he gives, you know, what he gives, he understands it's not really mine. I'm giving Krishna what is his. So that's the difference between karma yoga and bhakti. Karma yogi, he's thinking, I'm doing this, I'm giving this. But bhakti yogi, devotee, he understands everything is Krishna's, it's all his. Is that okay? Are you understanding these points? Everyone? If you have any question, yeah, don't hesitate to ask. Anyway, so you can see that this 18th chapter begins like that. The first 11, 12 verses are all about this aspect of renunciation. What is actually renunciation? Because that's what karma yoga is all about, really. Karma yoga means working in the detached way. So, as I said, impersonalists can also be karma yogis. We do karma yoga, and they also do karma yoga. But their purpose is merging and becoming one. You see, our purpose is simply doing for the pleasure of Krishna, service of Krishna. It's a different mood. The karma yogis, you know, they want to get sayuja mukti. They want to get that impersonal liberation. But we just want devotional. We want to go on to devotional service. And so karma yoga can lead to devotional service also, you see. But we need to have more knowledge. We have to go on from karma yoga, and we have to cultivate more knowledge, understanding, and then we can come to real bhakti yoga, because bhakti yoga is at the top of the yoga ladder. Right? When you studied the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, it was explained like that. So karma yoga, often you're working, we don't really know very much, you know, we're just working, I'm doing it for Krishna, you know, I'm doing it for Krishna, you know. Jayapataka Swami described how he first met the devotees. He heard there was a Rath Yatra taking place, so he went to find out what was going on, and he went along to where they were building the chariot. And Jayananda was there, Jayananda Prabhu, who is now Jayananda Thakur. Jayananda said to Jayapataka, at that time he's just a new devotee, a new person, he just came along. He said, Jayapataka said, "Could I help?" And Jayananda says to Jayapataka, he said, "Do you know how to use a hammer?" He said, "Here, take this hammer, start putting the nails in, you know." And that was the beginning of his service to Krishna. You know, that was some kind of karma yoga, hammering nails in to build the Jagannath Rath Yatra chariot. So that's karma yoga. Detached work. We do it for Krishna, you know. And Prabhupada talks about detached work also in one of the purports there. He talks about how there are householders in our movement who some are working in factories and some are working in offices, and they're giving a major portion of their salaries for the service of Krishna and to maintain the Krishna temples. And Srila Prabhupada comments, he said, these devotees are actually in the renounced order of life. They're actually sannyasis, although they may be married and they may have family and they're working in a job, but because they're renounced, because they're detached, and because they're sacrificing for Krishna, that is real renunciation. And Prabhupada praises like that. He said they're actually in the renounced order of life. Although externally, they're in householder like that, right? But the mood is detached. And in that section also, Lord Krishna speaks about how 3 activities are never given up. Do you remember that? 3 activities which are never given up. You haven't read the 18th chapter for some time. You didn't read it in preparation for our class here. Anyway, there are 3 items: sacrifice, penance, and austerities. Oh, no, charity. Charity, sacrifice, and austerity. Yajna, dan, and tapa. These 3 things are never given up. But they purify us. And that's what we want. We want karma yoga. You do karma yoga, you get purified. So it's very important, very powerful, very helpful. Karma yoga. Right? So karma yoga, people are working, they don't know very much, but because they're doing because they're doing karma yoga, they get association with a devotee if they're fortunate. If they're doing the karma yoga in a temple or something like that, then a devotee will come along and be talking to them and be preaching to them and telling them some of the aspects of devotional service and telling them about Krishna. And so that leads to the next thing, which is taught here in the Bhagavad Gita. And the next thing is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga, knowledge. Right? And do you remember that verse in the Bhagavad Gita about Jnana Yoga? Lord Krishna had described about 4 kinds of people who came to Krishna consciousness. 4 reasons why people come, why they take up devotional service. Yes. Do you remember?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes,
The one who wants, who's seeking for a wealth, the one who seeks wealth, and the one who is searching for a knowledge, the inquisitive one, and the one who is wealth and the one who knows the absolute truth.
There's the one who is in distress, which is the most common, right? A lot of us were in distress. And then you've got people in search of wealth, right? One in distress, the example was Gajendra. Gajendra was in distress. And he called out to Krishna. And the one person who was seeking wealth, the example is?
Dhruva.
Yeah, Dhruva Maharaj, right? He was wanted to get a kingdom. And then you've got people who are curious, and then the example of people who were curious were?
The sages of Naimisharanya?
Yes, right, good, yeah. Sages of Naimisharanya, they were curious. And then you've got people who wanted to get knowledge, and those were?
The four Kumaras.
Yeah, the four Kumaras, right. The Jnana yogis, they wanted to get knowledge. So Lord Krishna describes the best of those four as the one who is in knowledge, right? But then after saying that they're the best, Lord Krishna then says, he said, Bahunam Jnanmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sadurlabhaha. So Lord Krishna is saying, after many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge surrenders to me. Such a soul is very rare. So Lord Krishna is describing that by jnana yoga, you don't progress very fast. In fact, you progress quite slowly. It takes many lifetimes by jnana yoga. Because he said, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prapaj. One who's got knowledge will surrender to me. Right? But it takes many lifetimes. So jnana yoga takes a long time. It's not easy. We like to go more fast. We like to get things a bit quicker. We don't want to take the risk of taking so many births in the material world and going up to higher planets like the four Kumaras. They're way up on Tapaloka, way up in the top of the universe, just a little bit below Brahmaloka. So it's a long way up. And to get up there takes a lot of austerities, because jnana yoga, you have to acquire a lot of knowledge, and to acquire all that knowledge, in the course of acquiring that knowledge, there's a lot of tapasya. You have to do a lot of austerities. The jnana yogis, they study a lot. Like when Mahaprabhu was in Benares, the Mayavadis were all there studying Vedanta Sutra. So generally, Mayavadis are called jnana yogis. They want to merge. They want impersonal liberation. And they spend a lot of time studying the Vedas and studying Vedanta Sutra. So jnana yogis, they progress slowly, and often they miss the real goal. The real goal of knowledge is to surrender to Krishna. Vasudev Sarvam Iti. To surrender to Krishna, to know that Vasudev, Krishna, is everything. So Krishna himself says, Samahatma Sadurlabhaha. Such a soul is very rare. That it takes a long time and progress very slowly. So this is a problem with jnana yoga. Takes so much trouble. People, of course, the jnana yogis, they don't agree with that. They say, oh, bhakti yoga is just sentimental and so on. They don't like our bhakti yoga process. Anyway, they're attracted to jnana yoga. So they also progress, but they progress with a lot of trouble and slowly. I think Krishna also mentioned in the 12th chapter, where he was asked which is better, the personal or the impersonal. Lord Krishna said, Klesho dikataras tesham avyakta satta chetasam. That people who are following that impersonal path, they make advancement, but with a lot of trouble, very slowly, with a lot of difficulty. But with bhakti yoga, can progress rapidly, quickly, and not so difficult. But we need to follow the process. We need to practice faithfully. We need to chant, we need to hear, we need to worship the deities and these different things. Okay, so Jnana Yoga is above Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga, the yogis have got knowledge. They understand, for example, I'm not the body, I'm detached from the body, I'm a soul, and they understand, if they're fortunate, if they're Vaishnavas, they understand also about the super soul, like that. And they understand about the need to control the senses, and the most difficult sense to control is the tongue. Like this Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga is above Karma Yoga, and then with Jnana Yoga we learn about the super soul, and then Jnana Yoga leads to Dhyana Yoga, meditation, yoga of meditation, meditating on the super soul. And when meditate on the super soul, if you're fortunate, you understand that the Supreme Lord is in the heart as a Paramatma, and we are the servant, that He is the master and we are the servant. We say there's one Supreme Lord and all others are His servants. And then we will take up Bhakti Yoga. We'll engage in His service. So Bhakti Yoga is at the top of the yoga ladder. And we'll see here in the 18th chapter, later, up about 54, 55 verses. We're just overviewing the first 54 verses here. But verse 55 begins to talk more about Bhakti Yoga and the process of devotion. Alright, so Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then the chapter goes on about how we're controlled by the three modes of nature. We're controlled. The three modes, right? We're thinking we're the doer, but actually it's all done by the material nature. One of the famous verses in this regard, Krishna said, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimud atma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the material energy, thinks himself to be the doer of activities which are actually carried out by the material nature. So we're thinking we did something, but actually it's all done through the material nature. The material nature, we initiate it by our desire. And the Lord is there in the heart as the super soul. He knows about it, and He informs the material nature, and the material nature makes arrangements for things to take place. So in this section, in this third section of the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna describes about different factors, different forces which are causing our different actions. And the ultimate factor is the super soul, the Lord in the heart. Other things like, the endeavor, sometimes we try very hard to do something, so that has an influence on our activities, the endeavor, and the place where we are, and the performer, the person doing the activities. These different things, but ultimately, the thing which ultimately influences us is the super soul, Krishna in the heart. Okay, so the three modes of material nature, they're affecting us. Now, we spoke a lot about the modes of nature, right? That chapter 14 was all on the modes of nature. And then we heard about the modes of nature in chapter 16, and then again in 17, 3 modes. So, the modes, this is Krishna's and in my direction, O son of Kunti. People worship the material energy. You know, there's people worship Durga, or they worship Shiva, they worship the material energy. But that material energy is under the control of the Supreme Lord. It's not independent. And that was realized by Srila Vyasadeva. After he'd taken instruction from Narada Muni, who was his guru, then Srila Vyasadeva meditated and he could see the Lord and he could see the material energy fully under the control of the Lord. So the material nature is not independent. It's under the control of the Supreme. Okay, and then next section of this 18th chapter, verses 41 up to 48, Lord Krishna speaks about prescribed duties. Performing our prescribed duties. Again, this is part of Karma Yoga. Part of Karma Yoga is do what we're supposed to do. And we have to know what is our proper varna. What are we meant to be doing? So Lord Krishna, of course, he arranged the division of society into the 4 varnas, the Brahman, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and the Sudra. So there are these 4 different occupations, meaning Brahmana class, they're meant to be intellectual. They're meant to study and they're meant to teach as well. And generally the Brahmana class, they will worship the deity and they can teach other people to worship the deity. And they can teach Shastra and study Shastra. They're allowed also to accept charity and they should also give charity. So they don't just only take, they're meant to give also. Traditionally, Brahmanas don't work for people. Traditionally, a Brahmana should not take employment. He should simply do his worship, do his puja and so on. And then he can accept some charity. So traditionally, Brahmanas are not rich people. But they're rich in the sense that they have knowledge. And they have renunciation. So they have a different kind of wealth. They're not much concerned with a big bank balance or anything, but they're rich in terms of detachment from the material world. That is their wealth. And the Brahmana, he doesn't have the blessings of Lakshmi, right? Because they say ever since Bhrigu Muni kicked Lord Vishnu on the chest, so at that time Lakshmi was present when Bhrigu Muni had kicked Lord. Bhrigu Muni had been asked to go and test the Brahmanas. They wanted to know who's the supreme between Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So they requested Bhrigu Muni to go and test them. So Bhrigu Muni went to Lord Shiva, first of all. Oh no, he went to Brahma, first of all. Brahma is like the father, you see, of Bhrigu Muni. Bhrigu was one of the sons, so he went to see Lord Brahma, but he did not respect him when he went. Deliberately, he didn't offer any respect to Brahma. So Lord Brahma was not happy with him. He didn't do anything, he didn't say it, but he showed that he was not pleased with him. And Bhrigu Muni could understand that Brahma was not happy with him because Bhrigu Muni had not shown him any respect. So then he left Brahmaloka and then he went to Kailash and he went to see Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is also one of the sons of Brahma. And so when he went to see Lord Shiva was happy to receive Bhrigu Muni and he came to embrace him. But Bhrigu Muni deliberately told Lord Shiva, "Don't you come near me, don't you touch me. Your body is all covered in ashes, and you've got these snakes on your body. So I don't want you touching me, don't you come near me." So when Bhrigu Muni spoke like that to Lord Shiva, he's known as Ashutosh, and he gets angry very easily. So Lord Shiva went to get his trident. He was going to kill Bhrigu Muni. But fortunately, Lord Shiva's wife Parvati came. And Parvati came and she saw the situation and she immediately put her arms around her husband and embraced him. And she turned to Bhrigu Muni and said to Bhrigu, "You better leave immediately if you want to save your life." So Lord Shiva was so angry. So then Bhrigu Muni went to see Lord Vishnu, and when he went to see Lord Vishnu was laying down and Lakshmi was massaging his lotus feet. And at that time, Bhrigu Muni came in and he kicked, he purposely kicked Lord Vishnu on the chest. And often, if you purchase a deity, they often put the footmark of Bhrigu Muni on the chest of the Lord to show that Bhrigu Muni had actually kicked Lord Vishnu. So Bhrigu Muni kicked Lord Vishnu, and what did Lord Vishnu do? He got up and he spoke to Bhrigu Muni. He said, "Oh my dear Bhrigu Muni, I hope you have not hurt your foot on my hard chest." You see? So this was how Lord Vishnu responded, that after being kicked, he apologized. "I hope you haven't hurt your foot on my hard chest." And he was so tolerant. But Lakshmi was not tolerant. She didn't take it lightly. And she thought, "Who is this Bhrigu Muni that he comes, he dares to kick my husband like this?" And she cursed that the Brahmanas will never get her blessings. And so that's why Brahmanas are not usually rich people, not meant to be rich people. They're not meant to be rich because they're meant to be endeavoring for spiritual progress. And the more one is affected by material wealth, then the more difficult it will be for one to advance spiritually. So Brahmanas, the Brahmanical class of people, are not meant to be rich, wealthy people. That was the failure of the Varnashram system. And that was why Buddhism came up, because of the corruption and degradation among the Brahmanical class, because the Brahmanas were all endeavoring to get more and more money, and they were doing it by sacrificing animals. So we should understand anyway what are the duties of the Brahmana. And in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, each of the 4 Varnas are described and the qualification of each of the Varnas are mentioned. And so the Brahmana class, because they're the head of the social body, right? The 4 Varnas are like parts of a body, and the Brahmanas are the head, the Kshatriya are like the arms, the Vaishya are the belly, and the Sudra are the legs. So they're all part of the body. So parts of the body are all important to us. It's not that one person is not important because, he's a Sudra, he's not important. No, everyone is important. Just like in the body, the legs are also important to us. We value our legs, we value our belly, we value our arms. And the head, of course, is the most important. So the Brahmanas, they have to be qualified And the qualifications of the Brahmanas are mentioned there in the 18th chapter. There are 9 qualities, right? Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the 9 qualities of the Brahmana. So particularly important for the Brahmana are things like purity. They have to be clean internally and externally. They have to be pure. And examples given how a Brahmana will not tell a lie. The story goes about a young boy who wanted to get admission into the college. So the head teacher interviewed the boy and asked the boy, "Who is your father?" You know, the head teacher wanted to know the background of the boy, if he was really suitable to enter in the college. So the boy said to the teacher, he said, "I don't know who's my father." So he said, "Go home and ask your mother." So the boy went home and asked his mother, and his mother told him, she said, "I don't know who's your father." She said, "I don't know." Some people is left home. And so the boy came back and he said to the teacher, he said, "My mother does not know who is my father." So when the head teacher heard this, he said, "Oh, okay, then you can come. All right, you can be a student. We will accept you in our school. Because you're honest." And that's a very important qualification for a Brahmana. He must be honest. He should not lie about anything. So the Brahmana should be honest, and he should be also pure. He has to clean. We have one kind of school here in Mayapur where the children are trained in Brahminical culture. They're trained with the idea as they grow up, they will become Brahmanas in the temple, and they will help in the service of the deities and so on. And one of the things which they're trained in is cleanliness, to keep everything very clean. You know, Srila Prabhupada was very particular about cleanliness. He was very strict about it. And when he would come to the places like Mayapur or any temple, he'd like to go around the temple, or he'd go around through the building and just see the condition and see how we were maintaining everything. He would come and look at everything and see how we were doing, if we were keeping everything clean. So it happened one time in Mayapur, he came and there was a toilet. It was a kind of outhouse toilet, you know. And Prabhupada was walking and he came past the toilet and he opened the door and he saw the place was not clean. And Prabhupada chastised the devotees. He said, "Look at this toilet." He said, "This is not clean." He said, "Why are you not keeping it clean?" And one of the devotees said, "Oh, Prabhupada, I didn't do it. We didn't do it." Prabhupada said, "That is no excuse. Then you cannot say you didn't do it. You cannot say you're not responsible." He said, "You are a Brahmana. A Brahmana means if there's a place dirty, you must clean it." And Prabhupada gave an equation, because Prabhupada, you know, he was in his early life, he was a chemist. And he knew chemistry well. So Prabhupada gave an example to the devotees. He said, just like when a base is mixed with an acid, you'll get a reaction and you'll get salt plus water. You know, if you have sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid, then you'll get salt plus sodium chloride plus H2O. You get a reaction. It's a basic, very elementary chemical equation. And Prabhupada quoted it. He said, in a similar manner, when a Brahmana contacts a dirty place, He must clean it. So this is important. This is part of the qualification of a Brahmana, that they will clean everything, keep everything clean. And clean the heart also, not only the body, but internally also clean the heart and the mind by chanting Hare Krishna, and by reciting Shastra, by hearing about Krishna, and refraining from all the nonsense in the news and so on. Prabhupada didn't like to see the devotees read newspapers and magazines and so on. He wanted to see them chant Hare Krishna and read the Shastra. Alright, so Brahmins like that. And then Kshatriya. Kshatriya, his duties are a little less demanding, but still quite demanding. The duty of the Kshatriya, there's at least five qualities are there. And they have to be, for example, Brahmana should be charitable. He should be willing to give charity. And the Brahmana should also, he should have also courage. And he has to be able to protect people. He should not exploit people, but he should be giving protection to the people. He has to protect the citizens from the mafia and from the corruption and so on, degradation which is there in the world. So this is the duty of the Kshatriya. And Kshatriya also, he should have also what is called Ishvara Bhav. He should have that controlling nature. One who is a Kshatriya, just by his voice, he can be very powerful, and you can feel, that he's got that Shakti, he's got that power to give people orders. So that is Kshatriya. Just like in the Krishna book, it tells about how one time they wanted to arrange a fight with Jarasandha, because Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted to perform the Rajasuya Yagna. And in order to perform the Rajasuya Yagna, he has to have supremacy over all of the other kings. So they said, before you can do it, you have to defeat Jarasandha, because Jarasandha, he will never acknowledge your supremacy. So you have to go there, you have to fight him, you have to arrange a fight with him. So it happened that Bhima and Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the three of them all went to see Jarasandha. And they went in disguise. They dressed up as Brahmanas. The reason why they dressed as Brahmanas was because Jarasandha liked to give charity to the Brahmins. Although Jarasandha is a demon, but still he liked to give charity to the Brahmanas because he knew it's very good for him, it's very powerful. So Lord Krishna and Bhima and Arjuna, the three of them went dressed up in a very simple white cloth, just like a Brahmana. And the three of them went there to see Jarasandha. And Jarasandha, when they came into the room, and Jarasandha was looking at them, and he's thinking, these are funny Brahmanas. Because Bhima and Arjuna, they're so strong, they're so physically powerful. And even their bodies are marked where they carry weapons, where they carry their bow and so on. Their bodies had marks on them. And not only that, but when they spoke, their voices were like thunder. So Jarasandha was thinking, what kind of Brahmanas are these? Because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes about Vidya Vinaya Sampani Brahmani Gavihastani. In the 5th chapter, Lord Krishna is speaking about Paramatma vision, and he mentions about the learned and gentle Brahmana. So Brahmanas are usually Vidya Vinaya. These are the qualities of a Brahmana. Vidya, transcendental knowledge, and Vinaya, gentle. learned and gentle, and Brahmanas are not very powerful, they're usually skinny. It happened during the time of Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada that there was a war, and they wanted people for the army, a world war, and they were forming the Indian army. So they requested Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada that you have so many men there in your ashram, why don't you send them for the army? But Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, oh no, he said, our men, they're too weak and skinny. He said they wouldn't be good soldiers, They should get strong men, send the strong men out to do that fighting business. So, usually devotees will be weak and skinny. Sometimes, of course, Prabhupada or Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati, they didn't like to see the devotees get too fat. And sometimes they would even tell some devotees, you're overweight, you should lose weight. So, Brahmanas generally, they're usually less in weight. But the Kshatriyas, they're more powerfully built. So, Jarasandha saw these people, Bhima and Arjuna and Krishna. And anyway, he said, well, you've come as Brahmanas, I'll give you charity, what do you want? And then they said, we want to fight. They said, we want to fight you. I said, now I know who you are. He said, anyway, I'm not going to fight with Krishna. He said, you ran away from the battle last time I fought you. And he said, you're a coward, I'm not going to fight with you. And he said to Arjuna, he said, you're not strong enough, you won't give me a good enough fight. I don't want to fight with you, you'd be too easy for me. But he said to Bhima, he said, I'll fight you. You look like you could give me a good fight. Let's have a bat. I'll be happy to fight with you. So Bhima and Jarasandha, they fought. And they fought for many days. And it was only finally when Lord Krishna revealed the secret of how Jarasandha had been joined that Bhima understood how he could defeat Jarasandha. Anyway, that's the point. The Kshatriyas, they have that Ishvara Bhav, they have that controlling power, and they're able to get things done, they manage people and so on. And Brahmanas, they know what to do, they can give guidance, they can give knowledge and instructions what to do to help people materially and spiritually. Whereas the Kshatriyas' duty, they have to take guidance from the Brahmanas. And the Vaishya, well, Krishi Go Rakshapaninam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. They're supposed to do farming and cow protection. It's mentioned cow protection, protect the cows, along with farming and banking and trading. They do these kinds of things. And the Sudra, the duty of the Sudra is to work in the service of others. Of course, modern times, modern society, you have, a lot of people working in the service of others. You've got multinational corporations, they employ thousands of people like that. The Sudras generally do whatever they're told. So, like these 4 different varnas are there, and they're all important. It doesn't matter which varna you're in, everyone's important. I gave the example how different parts of the body are important. So the same way everyone, according to their position, they're all important. We have to work together. So Lord Krishna describes these different duties and says everyone perform the duty, and that's way they can come to karma yoga, doing karma yoga, working for the service of the Lord, performing their duty for the service of the Lord. And then the final section, well, not the final section, but what we're covering here today, up to text number 54, the final section is describing about coming from from Jnana Yoga to Brahma Bhuta. From prescribed duties, that's Karma Yoga, and you want to go on to Jnana Yoga, developing more knowledge and understanding. And with that knowledge and understanding, we should come to realize that we're not the body, right? And you come to realize Brahma Bhuta. The famous verse is there, verse 54, Brahma Bhuta Prasan Atma. The one who knows he's not the body, who understands that he is Brahman, then he will be a joyful soul. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not that body. Oh my goodness. There's such a thing, the material body. So that is Jnana Yoga, to come to that realization that I'm not the body and become detached. Brahma Bhuta nasochati nakanchati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Right? You don't hanker and lament for anything. Hankering is for things in the future. In the future, I'm going to go there. In the future, I'm going to do this and that. The planning for our material enjoyment and lamenting, oh, in the past I didn't do, oh, in the past I failed, oh, in the past I had this problem. We often spend our time on that material platform, hankering and lamenting. Bhakti-Vinod Thakur wrote some poem which nicely describes how we should avoid this. He said, forget the past which sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but live with times which are with thee, and progress thee shall call. Right? Forget the past which sleeps. The past is over with, it's all gone, finished. Well, leave it. And ne'er the future dream at all. Don't worry about live with times which are with thee and progress. So another, be here now. Live for now. The reality is now. And so we have to understand our duty as a spiritual being, as a Brahman. So Jnana Yoga helps us to come to that, person with knowledge. They can understand more of their spiritual nature, and they don't hanker or lament, and they see all living entities equally. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. They see all living entities equally. They don't distinguish, oh, this person, that person, high class, low class. They see all living entities. Even the snake and the birds and the worms and so many different creatures, they see them all equally. So that is Jnana Yoga, seeing the soul within everyone. That brings us to the platform of Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. You can take up devotional service. Right? One who is doing Bhakti Yoga, he's already understood all of these other things. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. He's already completed everything. It is stated that one who is chanting the holy name, it's understood that in the past he's already visited all the holy places. In the past, he's already bathed in all the different places, and he's already performed all kinds of yajnas and sacrifices. In the past, he's already executed all kinds of penances and austerities, and in the past, he's already studied so many different scriptures, and now he's come to take shelter in the chanting of the holy name. So that is the good fortune of the devotee, that he's simply chanting the holy name. All right. So, like this, we want to understand this first section. We're covering up to verse 54 here in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Right. We want you to understand how it's a summary everything Lord Krishna has been teaching. Just like in the second chapter, Lord Krishna gave an overview of what he was going to teach. You know, Prabhupada calls the second chapter Contents of the Gita summarized. And Lord Krishna explained in the second chapter about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga and touched very briefly on Bhakti Yoga. So now in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna is concluding this Bhagavad Gita. He's giving a summary of everything he's been teaching. And it began teaching about Karma Yoga, knowing the difference. Not the difference. Arjuna wanted to know, is renunciation different from sannyas? And Lord Krishna explains, no. Actually, renunciation and sannyas are the same thing. There's no real difference between them. We have to understand that. It's an important point, and it's discussed very nicely. Lord Krishna himself summarizes it, the teachings there, in this first section there in the 18th chapter, that renunciation and sannyas are the same thing. It means you're not attached to the fruit of your work. And that is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means detached work. Usually people work, they're very attached. We want to enjoy the results of our work. But actually Karma Yoga is to work without being attached to the results of our work. And then Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. By knowledge we can come to devotion, come to Krishna. Right? So Jnana Yoga. With knowledge we will understand I'm not the body. And with that kind of knowledge we'll be more detached from the material world. But the more there is knowledge, then the less we will be attached to things. Attachment comes because of ignorance. We're not understanding the temporary nature of the material world. So the more we have knowledge, the more renounced we will be. So you'll see that Jnana Yogis are often very renounced and detached from the world. But they progress very slowly, and often they don't come to devotion. It takes some time for them, and it's rare. I quoted the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Samahatma Sadurlabhaha, that such a soul is very rare. So Prabhupada would often call the devotees as Mahatmas, great souls, because they're all devotees. Alright, so Karma Yoga is the beginning of the 18th chapter, and then Lord Krishna explains about Jnana Yoga. And after explaining about Jnana Yoga, Lord Krishna explains how we are controlled by the three modes of nature. And the ultimate controller is the Super Soul, because it's the Super Soul who's controlling the three modes of nature. The three modes of nature are not independent. The Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This material nature is under my direction, O son of Kunti. So the Super Soul is there controlling the three modes. And we're all controlled like that. Different things, different factors influence us. We think we're the doer, but we're affected by different situations. The Super Soul, Krishna in the heart telling us. Sometimes the place we're at, sometimes the environment, sometimes the mood which we have and the endeavor which we have. Sometimes we're asked to do something, we didn't really want to do it, so we don't have much enthusiasm for doing it. Like that. And then next section was, we were hearing about prescribed duties, the nature of different people in different varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So each person has their different duties and occupations. The Sudras, for example, they're usually not given money, but they're given food and clothing. Actually, Mahatma Gandhi had a program. He would give people what was called roti, kapre and makan. Right? Roti, kapre, makan. You get your roti, chapati, and you get your cloth, and you get a place to live. If you have that, that's everything. You don't need anything else. You're fine. You're taken care of. So the sutras, if you give them money, they will use it. So many. They'll buy cigarettes. They'll buy alcohol. They'll use it to gamble. They don't know how to use money properly. So it's better not to give Sudra people money. Better to just give them food and place to stay and clothing to wear. Take care of them in that way. But in Kali Yuga, of course, they do give everybody money, and so we get so many problems. Alright, so prescribed duties, if we by performing our prescribed duties, then that is actually coming to karma yoga. Means again, detached work, not being attached to the result, but just doing our work, doing what we're supposed to do. That is karma yoga. Don't be attached to the result, just perform your work. And then the final section of the 18th chapter, Jnana Yoga, how Jnana Yoga brings us to Brahma Bhuta. Sorry, it's not the final section of the 18th chapter, but it's the final section of what I'm covering here tonight, because I only want to go up to text 54, which brings us to the platform of Brahma Bhuta. Means you're getting ready for devotional service, right? I just want to read these verses for everyone. Let me see how to get rid of that. Okay, yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
I want to say something that when we say about the prescribed duties, so as a grihastha, as I'm asking about myself, that being a mother, being a daughter-in-law, being a wife, what my duties are, I am doing that. Okay, but I always try to cultivate my karma kanda to the karma yoga, my children are the Krishna's children, and I have to serve them, and in my family also I have to serve them, as they are the Krishna's part and parcel. But many times it seems like we just expect respect or something. These things are natural. So it becomes again, if we want return, it becomes karma kanda. So how to get out of this?
Where do you want to get the return? Where do you want to get the respect from?
Of course, in my family members or something. When I was if I'm fighting with my husband for a reason or something like that. So when this is the natural thing that we naturally expect something from others. So is this become karma kand?
Well, you expect something from others. It's a question of are your demands reasonable or not? You see, that's the thing. You see, you respect something from others, but you have to be cautious about what you're respecting, what you're demanding from others, what you want to get from others. It has to be something which is reasonable and which is proper. Yeah. You know, as a mother, as a wife, yeah, you have a duty. And certainly the duty of the husband is also there to take care of the wife and to provide for the wife. Women generally, they should have enough dresses and cloth, for example. Srila Prabhupada would say the average woman would not be happy unless she has at least 30 saris. I don't know, I'm not from this kind of, but I'm just telling you what I'd heard Prabhupada had said like that. So women generally, they like to have a wardrobe, they like to have some clothes and things to wear, you know, some variety of clothing to wear for themselves. And women like to have some opportunity, they like to have family, for example, children. That's also husband's duty, you know. Now, I don't know, sometimes women can be unreasonable what they want, you know. Sometimes women want, you know, maybe they want to go on holiday, they want to go to travel and things like this. Not always so easy to satisfy a woman, you know, the demands of a woman can be difficult to satisfy. So women have to, you know, they have to be reasonable, they have to be tolerant.
Yes, Maharaj. I mean, it's a general question. Like everyone wants something in return. So that's why I'm asking this. Is this a karma yoga? Even while performing my duties, I just think that whatever I'm doing, it's for Krishna. It's not for anything else, but it's for Krishna. But
well, if you're doing it, the thing is, if you're doing it for Krishna, then you don't want anything in return. Because the pleasure of doing something for Krishna is so satisfying, you don't think about getting anything in return. And so you say you're doing it for Krishna, but at the same time you say you want something for yourself, then that's not for Krishna. You see, that's something that's for yourself. And so generally we say you're doing something for Krishna, and the mood of doing it for Krishna is so satisfying that we don't care what we don't want anything for ourselves. This is how devotion, this is the nature of devotion. And Rupa Goswami defines pure devotional service like that. The pure devotional service. And I quoted also from Bhagavad Gita, karma yoga, even in karma yoga, it's not bhakti yoga. If you're just doing karma yoga, then you don't want anything. Karmani eva dikareste ma palishu kadachana. You have a right to perform your duty, but you're not entitled to the results. The results are not for you, and just be happy to do your work, and don't be thinking, what do I get, what I want, because that's not karma yoga, that's karma kanda. You want something material, that's not spiritual. You understand?
Yes, Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thanks.
Yeah, you may say, oh, it's very difficult, I want, but, we have to be, tell you the truth, I can't change the philosophy for you. I have to tell you what is our philosophy. The philosophy is like that we have to do our work, and we're meant to work in a detached manner. We're not meant to be thinking, what do I get? That's not karma yoga. Karma yoga is detached work and detached from the results. And we don't worry what we're getting. We want to give everything to Krishna. And that the pleasure of giving to Krishna is so wonderful. It gives us so much pleasure. All right, some other questions here?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, pranams. Maharaj, I have a question regarding the pastime of Bhrigu Muni which you were sharing with us. So Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam says that Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu, and he's Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnav. But at the same time, if we see from the pastime of Bhrigu Muni, he becomes very easily angered. And scriptures also mention that a Vaishnava should be very tolerant and humble. So how to understand if somebody like a karma yogi or somebody who's in the state of a jnana yogi but not in the state of bhakti yoga, how to explain this thing to them or in a very positive way? Yes.
Yes, well, Lord Shiva, remember he's Asutosh. He's easily pleased, but he's also easily angered. So you have to deal with Lord Shiva very carefully. So Bhrigu Muni he committed an offense against Lord Shiva. And he came to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva wanted to embrace him. And Bhrigu Muni said, don't touch me. You're all dirty, you've got these snakes on your body. Now, he was offensive, verbally offensive to Lord Shiva. When Bhrigu Muni went to Lord Brahma, the offense was mental. But when he came to Lord Shiva, the offense was verbal. And of course, when he went to Lord Vishnu, it was physical. So the offense became more and more. Now Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. He does not get upset, but he can get angry very easily. He does get angry easily. Easily pleased and easily angered. However, he is a great Vaishnava because he gives mercy to very fallen souls. He delivers very, very fallen souls. He's very kind to people in the mode of ignorance. Especially he's known to be in the graveyards, and he will take people like that. And he will take also, it said that he takes souls who are in ghost bodies, and he arranges for them to take birth in the womb of people who have sex in irreligious manners. So he does things like that. He's very merciful to fallen souls. So he's considered the greatest Vaishnava. But still he gets, somebody offends him, he can get angry. You understand?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll go ahead here. Prabhupada's quote here, raise oneself to the standard of goodness. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. So again, the importance of coming to the mode of goodness. Without coming to the platform of Sattva-gun, nobody can advance in spiritual life. That is a fact. Just like, maybe I read this, huh? Did I read this last week? Anyway, I read it again. That is a fact. Just like nobody is allowed to enter the law college unless he is graduate. This restriction is there. What he will understand. He must be a graduate. So similarly, first of all, one has to come to the platform of sattva gun. Then spiritual knowledge begins. That's Prabhupada in Hawaii. He was lecturing to these people. They were, very much the mode of ignorance and passion, enjoying on the beach, in the sun, and on the beach, and so many things there in Hawaii. The life was quite reckless and not very sattva-gun. And Prabhupada is preaching. He said, "You must come to sattva-gun. You want spiritual life." And since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. Prabhupada in chapter 14, purport. Even one is not in goodness, even one is in the darkest part of the quality of ignorance, still he can be immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. So this Krishna consciousness movement is directly offering the spiritual platform, which is above the mode of goodness. The quality of goodness will automatically be there. So we have to come up to the mode of goodness. If we're really doing devotion, then we have to show the qualities of the mode of goodness. If we're actually Krishna conscious, the spiritual platform. And then here's a nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Right? Tadarajas tamo bhava kama lobodayaschaye chita iteranavidam stitam sadve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. So we have to get rid of that calm and crowd. We have to come to the mode of goodness. Okay, so yeah. We covered these things, yeah. Appropriate and inappropriate charity with reference to Bhagavad Gita. Appropriate charity. Give to a person who is qualified. You give in a holy place, and you give without any expectation of return. An inappropriate charity in the mode of ignorance. You give to unqualified people. And then how Krishna consciousness is independent of the mode of goodness. If one is Krishna conscious, then automatically the mode of goodness is there. And Prabhupada gave the example, like one who's devotee is not interested to go to cinema, he's not interested to take drugs, the devotee just wants to chant Hare Krishna and go on Sankirtan. So that is, devotee is transcendental, independent of the mode of goodness. And Prabhupada says, because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober, in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. So this is very nice. Importance of education. Education for developing the mode of goodness. Prabhupada is saying people don't have this education, and that's why they're irresponsible. So we're trying to do this in ISKCON. We're trying to establish more and more educational institutions where the mode of goodness will be talked about and demonstrated and developed. Trying to give people that opportunity. And quote from 14th chapter, even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develop Krishna consciousness and become situated in the mode of goodness, then there is a possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alright, so are there any questions here?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. As you said that even if a people is in the darkest mode of the life, he can immediately elevate it to the Krishna consciousness. Can you elaborate this?
Yes. Just like Srila Prabhupada would take people, they were not vegetarian, they were sometimes taking intoxication and things, but they became devotees, they take an interest in Krishna consciousness. I had experience even myself one time in London, we were on Harinam, and a young woman came and joined our Harinam party. And she was high on drugs. She'd been taking some drugs and she came and joined our Harinam party. But she never left. She came back to the temple and she stayed in the temple. Later on she got married and she married a devotee and she's still in Krishna consciousness 50 years later. Yeah. So even though she was coming from the mode of ignorance, she came to the highest level. Krishna consciousness, became a very strong devotee. She's done so much service over the years, so much service for Krishna. But she came from the mode of ignorance. And there's many other similar examples. Sometimes people will show me their picture before they became a devotee, and they had long hair, and oh my goodness, they were just really in the modes, but they came to Krishna consciousness and it completely changed. Do you understand?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Yes, any other questions? Prabhu has... Yes, Maharaji.
Please accept my humble obeisance. I have a question that just like we said that when we do our prescribed duties, we should be detached from the result. Like we should not expect anything in return. We do it for the service of Krishna. But why don't we directly renounce the activity? What's that difference? The detachment from the activities and the renunciation of the activities.
You mean give up the activities?
Kind of, yes.
Well, you're not qualified for that yet. You have to come to that level where you can stop work. You see, we have to work. We have the nature to work. And if we ask you to stop work and not to do any work, oh, you get bored. Oh, no, I want to do something. Give me something to do. If we say, no, you just sit and just chant Hare Krishna, oh, you can't do it. You're not able to do it. If I told you just sit there and you're not going to do it, but just going to sit and just chant all day, how long can you do it? Oh, it's very difficult. You don't have that nature to do these, to give up work. So that's why we don't ask you to give up work. You have to work, And even Arjuna, Lord Krishna told him, Karmani eva adhikaraste, your adhikar is to work. And most of us are in that situation. Our adhikar is to work. You like to work, you're attached to your little careers and things. You're not able to just chant Hare Krishna and just read Prabhupada's books. You want to have a career, you want to do things. Isn't it? Oh yeah, you're all nodding your heads. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much. You got it.
Okay. Yes. Any other?
Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm still confused in one thing, that we are all controlled by modes of material nature, and that are controlled by the Krishna. So how can we say that if a person is doing, of course there is a free will, Krishna is saying about the free will, okay? But if, like, I'm just giving an example, like if a person kills a person, okay, then he must be face the conclusion, he has to be punished. But it is his free will that he has killed somebody. But for the persons who are his family, they have to also suffer from this, because that person is the support of their family, and that person is punished, and the family is also suffering because of his. So how could we say that it was his free will? The family was connected to him, they also had to suffer. So there must be some past karmas of their family. So how could we say that it's his free will?
Well, free will in the sense that, the Lord is in the heart as a super soul. And the Lord is saying, trying to tell the living entity. But the living entity doesn't want to hear. You see? The Lord is in the heart, and He's trying to remind us, to tell us, if you do this, you're going to get punished. It's going to be very bad, and But the living entity doesn't want to hear. It wants to forget. So it just comes like that. That the Lord He gives ultimately the free will, just like the Father tells His Son different things. What the Father said, the Father may say, don't smoke, or don't gamble, or don't drink, and the Son thinks, well, maybe while he's a young boy he doesn't do it, but once he grows up he wants to do it. And the Father said, I told you not to do it, but and now I'm a man, I want to do what I want, I have independence, and Father cannot stop. Father, he has to can't stop the Son. It's the same way the Lord in the heart, He's telling the individual living entities, telling him, and the scriptures are there, the injunctions of scriptures are also there, but we're not caring. But who cares, And we go ahead and do things. So that the misuse of the free will. Yeah, we have that free will. So the Lord, he gives everyone free will, because without free will, if it's all just ordained without free will, then why are the scriptures there? There's no need of scriptures, because you don't have any free will. If everything is arranged by the law, there's no need of scriptures. There's no reason to follow laws or anything, because it's all controlled anyway. But so there has to be that free will for the living entity, because without free will, then there's no real love. If you want someone to love you, you just like the man says to the woman, you love me. But the woman said, no, why I love you? I don't want to love you, I prefer some other man. I like this other man. I don't like you. But the man said, no, you love me. You have to love me. And so you cannot force the woman to love someone. The woman will love someone who she chooses, who she wants to love. Or at least maybe in marriage, maybe after marriage, she can develop love for the man she's serving. But it's not forced. It's free will. And the Lord also, He wants love. It cannot be forced on someone, that we have to love God. It has to come, and we have to awaken. We have to develop that love ourselves. Love usually is shown by service. That you will serve someone, you love someone, you will serve them, you take care of them, you look after their needs, you'll be with them, accompany them. So the Lord is like that also for the devotee. He's the best friend of the living entity, and He's in the heart, and He's guiding us and telling us. But we have to listen to Him, we have to hear what He says. And free will, you have free will. Oh, you don't listen to Him. And the Lord is there. He said, well, I told you, I was telling you, but you didn't listen. It's like the one man, he did a murder and he was to be hanged. And before he was to be hanged, they asked him, anything you want? He said, yeah, I just want to see my mother. And so they brought the man's mother, and when she came, then he bit her. And she said, well, why did you do that? He said, it's because of you that I killed somebody. He said, you're my mother. Because of you, this is why now they're going to hang me, because you didn't teach me the right things. You didn't teach me these things, and now I'm going to be hung. He said, it's all your fault. He blamed his mother. So the same way that, the Lord is in the heart, but we're not hearing Him. We have to take shelter of His teachings, His instructions. We have to hear Him. We have to follow. But free will, He cannot force us. With marriage, when women get married, there's some free will, but not much. Sometimes women are forced to marry, right? The family arranged the marriage. And the woman's marriage is not free will. It's not her free will. It's arranged by her parents. But with good intentions. With the good intentions that this will be a good marriage for their daughter, and that this man will take care of her. And the parents, they know the man like that. They can be sure that the girl will be taken care of. Although the girl may say, oh, I know I don't like this man. Just like Prabhupada said, when his marriage was arranged, he told his father he didn't like that girl. And Prabhupada's father said, oh, that's good. It's good you don't like her, because if you like her too much, it's not good. The man shouldn't be too much attached to the wife. You see, he said it will be better for you that you're not too much attached to her. Anyway, he married and he had 5 children by her. And then later on he renounced. So free will is usually gets you in trouble, you see. We have free will, but we don't know how to use it. We have to be guided by sadhu, shastra and guru. You see, they're there to guide us. If we just listen to our own mind, it can give us a lot of problems. But if we're guided by sadhu, shastra and guru, then that will be safe for us. Hare Krishna. All right, any other? Okay, anybody has? Yes? Go ahead.
Maharaj, as you mentioned, Srila Prabhupada do not encourage devotees to read newspapers.
Yes.
I think it's a waste of time. Instead of reading newspapers and the materialistic thing, we should chant more. But as a student, we need to inform about the current affairs and what is happening in the world today.
Yes, Prabhupada was sick. I saw Prabhupada, he would ask his servant, he would say, is there anything interesting in the newspaper today? He wouldn't look at it himself. He would ask his servant, is there anything interesting for us as devotees in the newspaper today, you know? And devotee would look through the newspaper and he'd say, oh, well, there's this article, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, no, I'm not in. You know, Prabhupada would tell if he wanted to hear it or not, you know. But sometimes maybe Indian newspapers are a bit better than Western newspapers. Indian newspapers, they often write articles, you know, about different issues, maybe about casteism or about different religious friction or something. So Prabhupada would be interested to know something about the politics going on in the country. But he didn't like to see devotees read things like, you know, at that time, Time magazine or Newsweek magazine. He thought these things, you know, just not very good for devotees. Reading, keeping up with current affairs, you know, I don't personally read the newspapers and I don't also surf the internet to keep up with current affairs, but if there is some issue coming up, I'll hear about it from other people. They will tell me about it. You know, I don't have to go and find out about it myself. I just wait till somebody comes and tells me about it, you know. Just like I remember what happened when the terrorists flew planes into the Twin Towers in New York. You know, at that time I was in China, and the devotee came running to me one morning, and he was telling me, speaking in Chinese, telling me about what happened, and oh my goodness, you know, so I heard about it. You know, I wasn't scanning the internet but anyway, I heard about it. You get the news, you know, if it's really important, if it's a big thing, you hear about it. Of course, if you're studying current affairs, if you have some assignment or something, maybe you have to do it. But it's not really so important, life and death, you know, to know all these things. Usually it's all bad things anyway, and so many crimes and nasty, horrible things. You can waste a lot of time, just like people waste a lot of time on mobile phones. It's shocking. They tell you how much time you spent on a mobile phone, how many hours you've spent looking at your mobile phone every day. You know, you have to have one. You have to have one to keep in touch with the world. But, there's advantages and disadvantages. We have to always be careful. Just like the mind, the mind can be the friend, the mind can be the enemy. So in the same way, the mobile phone can be your friend and it can be your enemy. You have to know how to use it. You have to use it with caution. And there's so many things going on. All the things going on, they're forgotten about. What is the news today becomes waste paper tomorrow. It's all, one after one day or something. Nobody cares. It's all over with again. You don't worry about it anymore. So we have to learn to put ourselves, you have to learn to detach ourselves from all of these things. Oh, the price of rice has went up again. Oh, big news. We find out about it when we go to the market and you purchase. Well, my goodness, so expensive. Everything become expensive. Prices are always increasing. Everything. Yeah, that's the nature of the material world. So, we encourage you, don't waste too much time. Nowadays, newspapers, we don't see so many newspapers around anymore. We see it's more mobile phones and everything is there on the internet and CNN and whatever. All the news media is all available. The whole world is at your fingertips. So don't worry about it. Just worry about how to remember Krishna, how to chant Hare Krishna. That's important, to remember that. Not to worry too much about the material world. Life always goes on somehow, material world, although so many dangers are always being told to us about global warming and so many things, this problem, that problem, pollution, still somehow we're breathing. Okay. Any other? Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, everybody finished? So maybe we'll stop here tonight. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll go on. Have a look through the rest of the 18th chapter. Try to look over it. It's a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. If you do a chapter a day, they said chapter a day keeps the doctor away. We used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but a chapter a day of the Bhagavad Gita will keep the doctor away, keep you healthy. So try to read more Bhagavad Gita, get to know the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah. His Holiness Bhakti-V Vinash Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranams.